This video is going to be a mix of a personal testimony and some cold, hard advice for Erica Kirk and the rest of Turning Point, as well as their donors. So, the first thing I want to tell you is that at some point, you have to drop the whole grieving widow thing as an emotional sentiment because it's going to hit the ground like a glass vase. It can only hold you up and protect you from questioning for so long because the sad fact of the matter, and this is what I realized as someone who's been through a lot of trauma in my life, people don't care. Nobody, this world does not care. They don't. I personally, when I look at Erica Kirk, I do not care that she's a grieving widow. And the question why is because her behavior aligns with someone who is suspicious. So therefore, the emotional sentiment behind that label takes a complete crap. And like I said, I can testify and there's a reason. I'm an example of like the same thing in a way in a different situation. So my behavior when I was on the streets, it looked questionable to people because I would often sit, like on a bench and just smoke cigarette after cigarette. It was just terrible. It was a horrible way to live. And people would judge me based on my actions. They wouldn't judge me based on my trauma. They didn't know I went through 20 years of hell with two abusive parents. They didn't know that those parents disowned me for being both broken and pregnant. They didn't know I lost my kid because I didn't have the money to take care of her. And because she didn't have a father figure around, since I had to protect her from him, he was a very dangerous man. When I was on the streets, after that, I thought people were going to care. I had been taught that someone who needed help should get help, or someone who had been hurt would be treated better. But they'll show you their true colors in a very different way. I remember people in my local area while I was literally living in a tent, people who had houses, made up a rumor that I was performing lewd acts and that I was a grifter who was just looking to scam people out of money. And this was when I started a company while I was homeless and I was going to clean people's houses, even though I didn't have one. And people still accused me of being a grifter and accused my company of being a scam. And they started to come out to humiliate my company, talking about how my office must have been a tent or a bench or something. And it's like, people will show you how evil they really are. They do not care about you. So stop acting shady and stop hiding behind an archetype. It's not going to save you. They do not care. Either start fessing up to things and addressing things head on, or step down from this position if you cannot handle it.